So then Wolves have won in Portugal. It's another pre-season win. It's a 1-0 victory over FC Porto and a pretty decent overall performance today, guys. Let me know your thoughts if you managed to catch the game in the comment section down below. It's the first time we've been able to see Wolves in pre-season this year so far. We had a couple of games which Wolves have won, but all behind closed doors friendly. So this is the first chance we had to really see what Lopetegui has been working on, see what shape and condition the players were in. And, we got a win. We had to fight for it. Wasn't pretty at times, but, a win's a win. And I think we could take some positives out of the performance overall. Wolves starting a 4-2-3-1 type system to start off with. I'll put the team on the screen here. Jose Sarr starting in goal. He actually played the whole 90 in the end. Semedo, Dawson, Kilman as captain, and Hugo Bueno at the back. Lemina and Joe Hodge as the holding midfielders. Pablo Sarabia almost as a number 10. Neto, Cunha, and Mateus Nunes almost as a front three. Nunes, well, all three of those really having like a free role all over the pitch, really. And yeah, Wolves started off quite nicely. Porto, as expected throughout most of the game, wanted to keep some of the ball, but Wolves caught them out once or twice with some good counter pressing. There was one opportunity where I think the defender had sold himself short with a pass, and Pedro Neto had pounced onto it. There was times, I'm not sure what condition the pitch was in, because there were times where Wolves got themselves in really good positions or picking the possession up in nice areas, and they were slipping over the place. I don't know if the pitch was 4G or whether it was grass, but the first half especially, Wolves seemed to struggle to get used to that pitch. But we did get the opening goal, the only goal of the game. It was just before the 20-minute mark, and it was Pedro Neto. And it's something that we've seen quite a lot from the pre-season clips that we've seen so far. A really nice ball across the face of the goal, and this time it was Nunes that shot it across the face of goal in front of Diogo Costa, the Porto goalkeeper, and Pedro Neto was there to tap it in. A nicely worked goal, and it's something that we haven't seen enough of for the last couple of seasons or so, but we've seen quite often in the early pre-season clips so far. So hopefully we see a lot more than that. I don't think enough chances were created throughout the 90 minutes. I'll talk about the second half a little bit more shortly. I don't think enough chances were created throughout the 90, but I thought sort of the front three, front four looks lively. Neto, Cunha, Nunes, with a proper pre-season behind those three, all in the right atmosphere and surroundings, it could be a really good season for them all. Nunes had a really strange pre-season, was just thrown into the deep end last year, joined Wolves quite late. Sarabia is another one as well who, really struggled to get game time at PSG and sort of came to Wolves in January. So I'm hoping with a full pre-season behind these players, embedding into a nice system, it could be a really good campaign for a number of those players, and Neto as well, just been unlucky with injuries. I'm really hoping he can kick on, because this time last year he was being touted with a move to Arsenal for sort of £40 million plus, so hopefully we can see him regain that sort of form once again. Kilman, who I've said, he was captain today. I would not be surprised to see him be captain now for the season. That's probably part of his new deal. If he signs a new contract, I think he's going to be captain. And there were concerns that he wasn't going to step up. He doesn't seem to be as vocal, seemed to be quite shy at times on the ball. But today, I think he really, really stepped it up. For me, he's one of the better players on the pitch, especially in the second half where we had constant attacks from Porto. He seemed more aggressive, wanted to get on the ball more, looked comfortable on the ball. And overall, out that back four was probably the pick of the bunch. I think Bueno looked solid as well. Semedo and Dawson in that first half, there was a couple of shaky moments. Semedo picked up some nice areas, but at times just dwelled on the ball a little bit long. Dawson, early stages, it did take him a little while to grow into the game. A couple of misplaced passes. Sarr as well. There was one moment in the first half where it almost cost him. He got the foul in his favour in the end, but just a little bit too slow off his line. But he certainly made up for that in the second half. I thought he made a string of a couple of good saves, really. And again, Lemina and Hodge, two players I haven't really mentioned, just added nice energy, good holding midfielders, technically both very good players. And Joe Hodge, obviously getting the nod ahead of João Gomez. I don't know if it's because João Gomez maybe fitness-wise isn't quite there yet. But yeah, Joe Hodge getting the nod and having a good amount of minutes today as well. He's an interesting one for sure. I was expecting him to be a player that maybe was going to go out on loan, but if he's a player that's part of Lopetegui's plans, that'll be interesting. Half-time, 1-0 up though. I was expecting wholesale changes at half-time, and it wasn't. We only saw the one change. The majority of the lineup stayed up until the sort of, with 65th minute or so. But the only change we did see was Semedo coming off for Matt Doherty, who was returning in old gold. Semedo did pick up a little knock towards the end of the first half. Looked like some sort of arm or shoulder injury. So hopefully that one isn't too serious. Doc looks unfit, if I'm being brutally honest. Again, there were a couple of moments for him where just a little bit sluggish on the ball, a little bit slow getting back. But I think with a couple of games behind him, he'll soon sharpen up and get ready. But a lot more pressure on Wolves. We didn't seem to want to attack more. We certainly sat sort of 10, 11 men behind the ball a lot more in this second half. From the first half, we were having quite a high line and pressing. Wolves were happy to let Porto have the ball, absorb all the pressure. There were a couple of moments where we could have counter-attacked. Just sort of a misplaced pass stopped that from happening. Sarr, like I said, made a couple of good saves. 50th minute, he made a pretty good stop against Taremi. Made one or two other decent saves as well throughout the game. Then 65th minute, that's when we saw the first lot of changes from Wolves, bar the Doherty change. We saw Nathan Fraser, Owen Farmer and Fabio Silva returning. Those three as the front three. Fabio more or less playing off the left, more as a left winger. So didn't have a lot of the ball in front of goal. He looked confident. He wanted to get on the ball, although not everything worked out for him. Did seem he wanted to make things happen. We didn't see too much of Fraser and Farmer though, although Fraser in those 50-50 duels against Pepe, who's an experienced, a bit of a beast. Fraser wasn't scared to get involved with him. And then 10 minutes after, in the 75th minute, we saw even more changes. We saw João Gomez, Boubacar Traoré, Ryan Aït-Nouri, Totti Gomez, and then Alfie Pond coming on as well. Alfie Pond's a player to watch. If he does stick around, be interesting to see how he gets on. I'd assume he's going to be ever present in the 21 setup, but may well get a good low move, sort of League 1, League 2, because he's definitely a good centre-half in there as well. And the last 15 minutes were pretty much the same as the rest of the second half. Wolves absorbing that pressure. Porto had a string of corners which were really poor, and I think on another day Wolves would have taken advantage of that on the counter-attack. When Porto were pushing for an equaliser, they only had maybe one or two players back. Wolves could have certainly taken advantage of that. Sarr seems to be more confident. This needs to be a bit of a wake-up call for Jose Sarr, I think, because it was a poor season for him. Obviously, there's been rumours about him moving away to another club, possibly. But today, coming off his line a little bit more, looking a little bit better on the ball. I think his distribution still needs to improve. You know, you saw in comparison to Diogo Costa, the Porto keeper, I thought his distribution first half was fantastic. Played some fantastic balls to start the attacks for Porto. Sarr, we're seeing that a little bit more from him. We need to see it more often. But yeah, overall, you know, Wolves did what they needed to do against a very good opposition. I think Saturday is going to be a good test against Celtic as well. I think if you can get positive results out of today, which we have done, and the game against Celtic, and then go on to that game, I think, you know what, the remaining three pre-season games, we've got Celtic, we've got Luton, we've got Stade de Rennes. I think they're all really good friendlies, you know, to see whereabouts Wolves are. And obviously the last two both at home as well. Things to improve, I think Wolves just got to be a bit more clinical on the counter-attack. There was opportunities there that Wolves really needed to take advantage of. And just dwelling on the ball a little bit too much in dangerous situations, especially in our own sort of defensive third. Wolves just need to move that ball a tad quicker. There were some great moments, don't get me wrong. I thought sometimes when we were playing the ball out of the back, it was really good. But just those little things to improve. And obviously the chance creation still needs to be that little bit better. But, you know, overall, you can't complain with a win. Great to see the lads back. I know there's a lot of uncertainty and negativity in the Wolves space right now, but I want to focus on this game. I don't want to talk about that too much. I want to wake up every morning, have a positive timeline on my social feeds, go to work, enjoy my day, and when Wolves play and can win games, that obviously helps along with that. Pick of the man of the match, maybe. I really enjoyed Matheus Nunes' performance. I thought Kilman, like I said earlier, really stepped up. Shame that we didn't see Sasha Kalajdzic. Lopetegui sort of made out that he's probably not quite ready for lots of minutes. I'm sure we will see him in some capacity in the next week or so. But yeah, really enjoyed it, guys. Do let me know your thoughts if you managed to catch the game. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all very, very soon.